everybody. So many thanks to Public Advocates for this award and for all the really nice words. Let me start by saying this. I can't imagine the program to this point have gone any better in presenting to you all what Public Advocates is. It is, and I say this to everybody who ever asked, the most outstanding organization of its kind that exists today and has existed over the last 50 years. What I want to do tonight in my allotted 3 minutes, and I might go 3.5, is to give a little bit of history. Life is random moments. We all can look back at things we did or didn't do, places we went, decisions we made, and what an incredible, profound difference they made in our lives. And for me, it was in 1963. I was at Ohio State Law School, go Bucks. And there was a job posted in Los Angeles, and I'd never been west of Milwaukee. And so I thought, well, you know, and it was tax, which I actually had an interest in at the time. And IRS, Chief Counsel's Office, Los Angeles. And so I wrote, and I accepted the job. I drove across the country, and I went to work for the summer there in Los Angeles. And I met and became lifelong close friends with a guy who was working there with the unspellable last name of Ganezda. Bob and I hit it off from the start. He was a passionate baseball fan, and Matt knows. And Bob always believed that baseball could bridge any gap. He could talk baseball with anybody, anywhere. And if they were an enemy, when he went to Mississippi, he talked baseball. He said it got him into rooms. And I was in Paris last week, and there was a guy came into the hotel. He was gigantic. And on his shirt, it said, God, Trump, gigantic, guns. And he sat down right next to me, and I thought, well, you know, Bob would talk to this guy. And I heard him say something about the Dallas Cowboys. And so I said, you're a Dallas Cowboy fan? And he said, yes, of course. And, what about you? And I said, San Francisco, for the 49ers. And he said, San Francisco? How could you possibly? He turned his back on me, and I thought, Bob, it didn't work, Bob. Bob and I were also incredibly competitive. It'll surprise all of you. And so we invented games. After work, you know, we'd wad up paper and we'd throw it in wastebaskets, or we'd throw cards. I was really good at that. I liked that game. And Bob had this game that he would open an almanac and take turns putting it in front of each other, and you had 30 seconds to read like crazy. And then you close it up and you quizzed each other. Bob loved that game. He almost always won it. And by the end of the summer, we were really close friends. And we talked not just about games and baseball, but about what we wanted to do with our lives and our careers. And we said, we want to do something that matters, that makes a difference. Bob was, you know, he'd worked at the IRS, but we want to do something different. So we said, I'm going back to school. Let's work together to figure out how we can do something and do it together. I went back to school, graduated, went to work for the Civil Rights Division, Mississippi and Louisiana. And I would tell Bob, we stayed in touch of, you know, what was going on. And he thought, you know, okay, that's what I want to do. So Bob flew to Washington, arranged with John Doerr for Bob to meet with John. He got hired. He went to look for a house. He put down a deposit, and he went back to California, and he met Jim Lorenz, who founded CRLA. Next week, I'm in Macomb, Mississippi, in my hotel room, and I get a call from Bob Ganezda. He says, I'm not coming there. You're coming to California. You got 2 weeks to register for the bar exam. I've told this guy who founded the program, Jim Lorenz, that if he wants to hire me, he's got to hire you. We're gonna work in Salinas because it's near Monterey, and we'll have a really good time, and we'll do good work. Those of you who know Bob can hear all this, right? And it turned out, yeah, okay, I was skeptical. He whispered on the phone, we're going to end the Bracero program. And I thought, what is that? We did. That was one of the things we did. And so it came to pass, Bob and I worked together in the Salinas office. Bob was the most imaginative, creative. I don't even know how to begin to describe it. He had ideas that it took you a while to understand that it was even possible. And he not only had the idea, but he knew how it would work. And the influence he had on me as I learned all the different ways you can make things happen was truly enormous. And I think it's fair to say that kind of with my own litigation bent and skills and his insane creativity, we were a force. And we had, and we were able to do a lot. I was with CRLA for 8 years. Bob joined, Tony and Sid in founding this great organization. And unfortunately, we lost him last year. But we remained close. We worked on a number of cases together. And I don't think his family would mind if I would say that really today, I super appreciate this award, but I want to say I accept it on behalf of both Bob and myself. Thank you all.